Good morning, chemistry students. Here are your corrections for homework number 3. So starting on page 95 with number 15, it asks, what conversion factor would you use to convert between these pairs of units? So what this is kind of saying is if I start with some number of minutes, how would I convert that to hours? So minutes would need to go in the bottom or in the denominator, so they would cross out. And hours are going to go on the top because I know something about minutes and hours. And we know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So honestly, your textbook was asking for this as your answer. In letter B, some number of grams of water to cubic centimeters. Well, that's the density. Density of water you can use to figure that out. And the density of water is just 1 gram per centimeter cubed. So again, your textbook was asking for this. Written that way specifically because it does matter what units in the numerator and what units in the denominator. So again, that is important. In the third one, we have grams to milligrams, so some number of grams. Again, grams need to go in the denominator, and milligrams are going to go in the numerator. A gram is larger, so I make it 1, 10, and again, we're using this, our metric system aid, so mega, kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, pico. So remember to use this. I start at my grams, which is my base, and I count how many times I move. So I move 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be 10 to the third milligrams, or 1,000. So again, this is what your book was asking for as the answer to that. This last one, cubic decimeters to milliliters, this is kind of a trickier one. This one is using the idea, or wants you to remember, that 1 cubic centimeter is the same as 1 milliliter. So again, idea here is I'm starting with something in decimeters cubed. So I'm going to go from decimeters to centimeters. Now, I don't really know something about them cubed, but I do know that 1 decimeter is bigger than a centimeter, so I'm going to make it 1, and that there's 10 centimeters. But it needs to be cubed, so I'm going to put this cube out here, and then I'm going to bring that cube inside, so then it becomes cubed, 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 and I can get rid of that cube. Now I can use centimeters cubed to milliliters, and that it's 1 to 1. So again, this is what your answer should look like. For number 16, it says, make the following conversions, express your answers in scientific notation. I'm not too particular about whether it's in scientific notation or not, but letter A, so we're starting with 36 centimeters. So centimeters need to go in the denominator, meters are going to go in the numerator. A meter is larger, and again, we're using that metric system. So we have mega, kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, and pico. So again, for this one, I'm starting at meter because it's bigger, and I go 1, 2 times. So again, that means that I'm going to be 10 to the second, or 100. So again, because that's on the bottom, that means I'm going to divide by it. So on your calculator, right, you're going to take 36 divided by 10 to the second, or 100. And again, you get 0.36 meters. In scientific notation, right, that would be 3.6 times 10 to the negative 1 meters. And again, I'm not too particular about whether you have it in scientific notation or not. The second one, 14.8 grams to micrograms. So grams go on the bottom, micrograms go on the top. Grams are larger, so it's going to be 1, and 10, 2. And again, so that's the base. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 10 to the 6th. So because 10 to the 6 is in the numerator, I'm going to multiply by that. So 14.8 times 10 to the 6th. Okay. And that's 1.48 times 10 to the 7th micrograms. Letter C, we have 1.44 kiloliters. We want to take it to liters. So kiloliters go in the denominator, liters go in the numerator. A kiloliter is larger. It's right here, 1, 2, 3, so 10 to the 3rd. Oops. 10 to the 3rd. Again, I should multiply because it's in the numerator. So in scientific notation, this is going to be 1.44 times 10 to the 3rd liters. Letter D, 68.9 meters to decimeters. Meters go in the denominator, decimeters go in the numerator. Again, a meter is larger, so I make it 1. And that's my base, so I'm only moving by 1, so I'm just going to have 10 to the 1st, or 10. Okay. So that means, okay, I have 6.89 times 10 to the 2nd decimeters. All right, letter E. Okay. We have 3.72 times 10 to the negative 3rd kilograms. And we want to go to grams. So kilograms go in the denominator, grams go in the numerator. Again, here's that metric system. Okay, so again, here I am going to make my larger one 1, which is kilograms, and then grams is the base, so 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be 10 to the 3rd. That means I'm multiplying, and that means that I have 3.72 grams, or in scientific notation, I can write it as 3.72 times 10 to the 0 grams. Again, I'm not too particular about whether or not you're writing them in scientific notation. Letter F, 66.3 liters to cubic centimeters. So again, that's using that idea that I know that 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. So I'm going to change my liters to milliliters. And liters are bigger. And again, when I count, it's 3 times, so it's 10 to the 3rd. Milliliters go on the bottom or the denominator. Cubic centimeters go in the numerator, and that's 1 to 1. So I'm going to have 6.63 times 10 to the 4th cubic centimeters. And letter G, 0.0371 meters. We want to know how many kilometers that is. So meters goes in the denominator, kilometers goes in the numerator. A kilometer is larger and it's 10 to the third. So I need to divide. So 0.0371 divided by 10 to the third, which is 1,000. Okay. Okay. Gives you 3.71 times 10 to the negative fifth kilometers. So that's how you do those. I am very particular that you're showing your work the way I am asking you to show your work. These problems I know are pretty simple and you could probably move the decimal place, but the problems will not stay as simple as moving the decimal place to get the correct answer. Number 19, an atom of gold has a mass of 3.271 times 10 to the negative 22nd grams. How many atoms of gold are in 5 grams of gold? So this information here, the 3.271 times 10 to the negative 22nd grams equals 1 atom of gold. That we're going to actually use as a conversion factor. This problem is asking us to take 5 grams of gold and figure out how many atoms that is. So we're going to start with our given, which is the 5 grams of gold. And again, we're going to use this conversion factor here. So we know grams need to go in the denominator, so they'll cross out. And the other unit is atoms of gold. And we know that 1 atom is 3.271 times 10 to the negative 22nd. So again, here is that first example of you can't just move the decimal to get your answer, right? You're going to take 5 and divide it by 3.271e negative 22nd to get your answer, because 3.271 times 10 to the negative 22nd is in the denominator. Okay. And okay. You get 1.53 times 10 to the 22nd atoms of gold. All right, sorry about that. All right, on page 100, you also had to do question 28 and 29. So question 28 says convert the following, express your answers in scientific notation. Again, I'm not super particular about whether they're in scientific notation, but again, we're going to need that metric system. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here, right? So that, again, that's mega, kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, and pico. So this first question says take 7.5 nanometers and figure out how many kilometers that is. So again, what I'm starting with is 7.5 times 10 to the 4th nanometers. Nanometers are going to go in the denominator. Meters are going to go in the numerator because that's what I'm converting for. Meter is larger. And again, meter is my base. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's going to be 10 to the 9th. So I'm going to get 7.5 times 10 to the negative fifth meters. Oh, hey, there we go. So, little bit of a mistake here because I read the problem wrong, right? And you aren't here to tell me that I read the problem wrong, right? We're going to kilometers. So, we're going to fix this exponent because we want to go to kilometers. So we're starting at kilometers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it should be 10 to the 12th. Which means our answer is 7.5 times 10 to the negative 8th kilometers. So this was to the 12th, and we got 7.5 times 10 to the negative 8th kilometers. Letter B, 3.9 times 10 to the 5th milligrams. Milligrams go in the denominator, and we're going to decigrams. A milligram and decigram, of the two of them, the decigram is larger, so I make that 1. And again, I start at deci and I go 1, 2, so that's just 10 to the second, or 100. So that's going to be 3.9 times 10 to the third decigrams. Letter C, we're starting with 0.764 kilometers. Kilometers have to go in the denominator. We're converting to centimeters, so they're going to go in the numerator. A kilometer is larger, 10, 2, and now we'll find that number. We start at kilometers, we're going to go to centimeters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 10 to the 5th. So that's going to make our answer 7.64 times 10 to the 4th centimeters. And our last one is 2.21 times 10 to the negative 4th deciliters. We want to convert it to microliters, so deciliters goes in the bottom or in the denominator, and we're going to microliters, which will go in the numerator. Again, when I look at my metric system, deciliter is larger, so I'm going to make it 1, make this 10, and again, to figure this out, I'm going to start at deci and count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 to the 5th. Which means I have 2.21 times 10 to the 1st, okay, microliters. So there's number 28. So the last question says, light travels at a speed of 3.00 times 10 to the 10th centimeters per second. What is the speed of light in kilometers per hour? So this is asking us to take 3.00 times 10 to the 10th centimeters per second and change it into kilometers per hour. So this is that kind of more complicated problem because it's a multi-step. It's going to require multiple conversion factors. Unlike these where I just had to use one, for this one, notice I'm going to have to change centimeters to kilometers and seconds to hours. Because we're multiplying and dividing, the order that we do that in does not matter. So I'm going to do the centimeters first, It is important, though, that I make sure I know whether my unit is in the numerator or denominator. So I'm going to change centimeters to kilometers first. So centimeters has to go in the denominator and kilometer is going to go in my numerator. A kilometer is larger. And again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. So it's 10 to the 5th. Right now, if I stopped, I'd be in kilometers per second. I don't want kilometers per second. I want kilometers per hour. So I need to change seconds to hours. And I don't know how many seconds there are in an hour off the top of my head. So I'm going to change seconds to minutes because I do know something about that. But then I'd be in kilometers per minute and I want kilometers per hour. So minutes have to go in the numerator to cross out and hours are going to go in the denominator. And now I'm in kilometers per hour. We know that 1 minute is 60 seconds and 1 hour is 60 minutes. And so again, on my calculator, I'm going to do 3E10 times 60 times 60. Can put that in parentheses and divide that by 10 caret 5. So when I do 3E10 and then I'm going to divide that by you should get 1.08 times 10 to the 9th kilometers per hour. So that's how you do that. So I hope that helped. If you had some questions about this homework assignment, have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.